Authentication is critical to making sure that a merchant or a bank is interacting with the person who that person claims to be. So authentication is going to become all the more important as time goes on. Authentication is not a substitute for appropriate privacy protections and data security protections. It's actually a very important element of that program.
And then one of the things that it shouldn't be is necessarily a free pass. In other words, the purpose of authentication is to help deliver improved security. And if it fails to do that, then it isn't doing what we need it to do.
It won't end data breaches. Nothing is ever going to completely end data breaches, not with the amount of data that organizations collect.
Authentication will continue to be something that evolves, because if the authentication process is difficult, in a way where consumers just won't use the services, then it's sort of like trying to go out and unlock our car as a consumer, but in order to do that I have to use 3 keys, and I have to wear an orange vest, and I have to call my mom and get permission to do that. And if that's what's required to use your car, few people are going to drive. And at the end of the day, we want them to drive.
There are a lot of questions out there as to what is reasonable security. Reasonable, unfortunately, being one of these legal terms, but that's used all the time. And organizations should be striving, really, hopefully going beyond reasonable security. Authentication, dual-factor authentication, is one way for an organization to try to work towards reasonable and beyond reasonable security. But it's got to be in hand with other security controls like encryption, like other policies and procedures for access controls, who has access, data classification, to make sure that sensitive data is stored and maintained. From the whole data life cycle is really what you're looking at. From the time data comes into an organization to the time it's disposed of. Security measures along the way to try to protect that information. Authentication is one part of that puzzle, I think.